Welcome to our AISD High School Football Coaches Show, where we will visit with all 6 coaches within the AISD. We begin with the Arlington Colts. Scott Peach last year, a playoff team, lost to Jesuit in the first round. Coach Peach is in his 20th year, and Scott, a lot of coaches can't say they've been at the same school for 20 years. What has been the secret?
Well, the first is I'm an Arlington kid, so I was raised in Arlington and grew up my whole life here. I'm pretty fortunate, so obviously my family still lives here in town, my mom, my brother and his family. And then my wife went to Lamar High School, and so her whole family is here in Arlington, her brother, her dad and mom, and so it's been home. The next piece is Arlington High is a really special place. I don't have to tell you that, but there's so much tradition. There's so many people that absolutely love Arlington High School. And it's been a wonderful experience since the first day I walked in the door when James Adams gave me the job back in 2003. And then the next thing is, I think a lot of longevity is your leadership. And I've been very blessed to have Dr. Cavazos in some type of role in charge of this district for the whole 20 years that I've been at Arlington High School. And then on top of that, I've had some great athletic directors. Of course, I owe IC Little a lot, but now Eric White does a fantastic job for us. And then I've had some amazing principals, including James Adams, was Jennifer Young and Shavir Dalla, and now Stacy Humbles. And Stacy Humbles is in her 2nd year. She is a rock star, and she was actually named the Administrator of the Year for the entire district. And so those are the pieces that kind of been the secret to my success at Arlington High. Have an amazing staff, and then just great kids. You know, we've got some awesome kids in our community. And football's really big at Arlington High School, and so we've had a lot of success over the years.
How has the off-season program progressed, and are you where you need to be right now?
I'm so excited about, I know we're not out of COVID yet, but boy, for 2 years it was really hard. Just all of the things that you have to change in your program, dealing with that. This is the first year where we haven't been in the middle of it. We're not out of the woods yet. But where we can get back to kind of being who we are. And so in saying that, our strength and conditioning program has been awesome. We've been at it all summer long, getting back to competing at big man competitions all over the state. And our group got 3rd place in the state at that down in Abilene. And then our 7-on-7 team was able to compete at a high level all summer and play in 5 tournaments. And just getting back to the competition piece against other people, the chance to be side by side with each other, in the weight room and running and practicing football has been a blessing for us, and our numbers are back. You know, that's the biggest piece.
Where is your strength this year?
I think first thing you have to look at is that, you know, we got a lot of pieces back on defense. We've got a chance to be as athletic and as big in the defensive line as I've probably had in 20 years, and so I'm really excited about that. And then you look back, but we've got young men like Rowan Hamilton, Frank Rogers, Jarvis Austin, and then quite a few back in the secondary. Barry Dillon is probably our best defensive football player that plays corner for us. Stephen Murray at safety. And so we just have a lot of kids back from last year's team that I'm excited about.
Scott, you opened up with Mesquite at Hanby Stadium. I think last year there were 84, 89 points, something like that scored back and forth all night long.
Yeah, I mean, they're a great competition for us. We had a chance to play them for the first time last year with a new coaching staff, and they do a really good job. But I'm excited. We scored a lot of points last year. We don't have a lot of pieces back, but Cooper Peach is back for us at outside receiver. Dre Burton played a little bit at tailback last year, but he's back. Sam Semi Jr. is going to be our quarterback this year, and excited about him. And then we've got a couple of offensive line pieces back with Ryan Ott and Connor Carrington and Garrett Hubbard. Owen Nelson will be our tight end. And so a lot of new faces, a lot of youth, but a lot of talent too.
I think every coach would agree, Coach, about COVID in late 2020. From an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, I think everything gears towards kind of being back to normal. Not maybe 100%, but even 80% would be good.
Well, just having access to our kids all day long in the classroom, on the practice field. There are no options of whether you stay behind or you come back, is really helpful because, you know, character development pieces where we didn't get a chance to be with our guys all the time. So there's no question that I'm so much more pleased where we're at now than we were a couple of years ago. And, you know, you can see it, just the energy level of our kids, the excitement level is a big deal.
Coach, good luck to the Arlington Colts this year.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it, man.
Joseph Sam is in year number 2 at Arlington Bowie. The Volunteers getting ready, like everyone else, to get this 2022 football season underway. Coach, what has been easier for you from an academic standpoint and athletic standpoint in year number 2? Because I know last year was kind of hectic, especially around August.
Well, you know, like I tell everybody earlier, is that it was just a bad case of newness in year 1. When I first took the job, there were only 21 kids there. COVID kind of took an effect in the community, and so, you know, it was really strictly building it from the ground up. And so me and my staff have made it a priority, as soon as the season ended, to not only build it from the ground up, but also reset the culture that was there.
You come from Fort Bend Hightower, but you knew this area well. You know the area well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know the area because I'm originally from Lancaster, Texas. And then I was the defensive coordinator at Mansfield Legacy. So this whole Arlington, Mansfield, I-20 deal is very familiar for me. And when I left Hightower, I knew I was going to leave for a job that I could see myself being at for an extremely long period of time. And Arlington Bowie was that place for me.
That was kind of an interesting district with Manville and Angleton and those teams down there.
Well, you know, you face wing T all the way up to, you know, Tony Franklin, how fast can we go type of offenses. So, you know, facing those very types of offenses, it got you better as a coach, and definitely made me better overall.
You really didn't get off to a good start non-district wise last year. What has to change this season?
I think knowing the expectation was number one with us just being in the off season. Like I said, we're trying to teach expectation while getting to know our kids at the same time. But now we've had a full off season. We've had a boot camp that, you know, kind of brought the kids together. And I think that we're primed for the potential for a great season if, you know, obviously the Lord makes it that way as well.
Coach, give us a couple of names we should keep an eye on this year, both offensively and defensively.
Offensively, it's going to always start with our quarterback, D'Angelo Ponder. He's been offered by New Mexico, Texas A&M Commerce, and a couple other schools. Our big-time recruit would be Kelby Valson, our receiver. He's committed to Texas Tech right now. He had over 30-some offers. And then at running back, we have Tavares Duckett, really good running back. And then we have another slot receiver in Raphael Campbell. On the defensive side, it starts with our safeties, Amarion Sims and Christopher Owakama. Both of those guys have been offered by various schools. Then you have our linebacking core with Marcus Welch, Tim Njaka, and at the defensive line position you have Mateo Greer and Christian Westbrooks.
You mentioned the last name Campbell. Yes. You had the Defensive Player of the Year last year, Devon Campbell, now at UT.
Yes, sir.
It'll be interesting to follow his future. He's one of the best players I've ever seen in the district.
Yeah, he's an awesome kid. He definitely bought into the process. I kind of wish that I would have got there earlier so that I could help him a little bit more. But he was completely bought in, and I know a lot of the things. Not only did the previous staff with Coach D. Harmon, but myself and his uncle and other people on staff, he's kind of taking those lessons and he's starting to blossom at the University of Texas as well.
All right, you open up against Little Elm at home. It's always good to open up at home.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's always good to open up in front of your home fans. You know, it's going to be a different brand of football this year because I'm able to actually put my hands on everything that's going on. But, you know, being in front of those home fans, we're going to have that energy, have that going. Little M's going to be really good. They hired a really good coach in Joe Castillo. So, you know, I know those guys are going to be ready to roll. And, you know, they're not an easy opponent. You know, they were averaging about 30 to 40 points a game last year. So, you know, it's going to be an exciting first game to see where we're at.
This district is tough. How do you see the race this year?
I see the race as, you know, there's a bunch of teams fighting in people's backyards to see who's going to win it all. I know, you know, you got Bob and Arlington Martin. Obviously, they're the standard of the district because they're the district champ from last year. And then you have Grand Prairie, you have SGP, you have Lamar, Sam. You know, that's always a big rivalry game between us. So you have a lot of different teams competing for, you know, that top spot, and I think it's going to be a great battle.
Coach Sam, good luck to you and the Volunteers.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Head coach Billy Skinner in his second year at Arlington Lamar. The Vikings last year finished 2-8. But Coach, It's like the season never happened. I mean, you had a lot of distractions, a lot of things happened early in the season. You were shorthanded and really had to overcome a lot.
For sure. The season did happen, though. And that's one of the things that we kind of used during our off season to push some of the things we did. We had a boot camp, which was something different for our kids, and it was just a reminder of, hey, 2-8 is unacceptable. And so it was definitely on our minds. We're not going to make excuses for it. We are a team that we're going to do everything we can to push forward. We're not going to make excuses. We show up and find a way, not find an excuse.
What prompted you to be more excited since the spring game?
You know, just the effort that our kids are putting in the summer. Great thing about Lamar High School is we've got kids who truly love football, truly dedicated to what we do. And so I show up to the facility and a lot of those kids are beating me there. And so just having kids that are bought into what we're doing and bought into the work that's necessary to play this game it's definitely exciting for us.
Billy, how many returning starters on offense and defense?
I feel like I should know this answer off the top of my head. We've got about 5 on offense.
Yeah,
that's right. Let me see that sheet. We've got about 5 on offense. And then on the defensive side, we'll have close to 6. And we've got some kids that rotated in and got quite a bit of time, weren't technically starters, but they played quite a bit. So
I believe you opened up the year against Keller. How do you see that matchup?
we're going to open up against Keller Timber Creek,
Timber
and they are uber talented. They've got giants outside at receivers. I think they've got a 6'3" kid and a 6'4" kid on the other side. Very, very skilled. They've got big offensive linemen. I feel like we match up well, though. Our team, it doesn't matter who we line up against. We're really into just focusing on the Vikings. So the kids are going to get the information on them, but then they're going to get the information that they need to be successful. So it's a good football team we're going to go up against. We think we're going to be a decent football team, too.
All right, towards the end of the season, you beat Sam Houston. You had a couple of overtime games and seemed to be getting a little stronger towards the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think an off season is going to help get us over those humps. I talk to our kids about it. There's a reason why we go through boot camp. There's a reason why we have you come up at 5:30 in the morning when everybody else is asleep, because it's going to get you over that hump this year.
Does Lamar have a team motto?
So for us, it's all about win the day. You know, you'll see WTD on everything that we do. And it's just that Zoom focus on the day at hand. A lot of times people get so caught up in playoffs and they get caught up in who are we going to face in round 1 and what's going to happen in round 2. Well, we want to be really good at Mondays. And when Monday's over, we're going to put that to bed and we want to crush Tuesday. So you'll hear our kids say win the day a lot. And then the other thing that we talk about is bet. BET for us is an acronym. It's brotherhood, elite effort, and toughness. Those are our 3 core skills in our program. That's our how. If we execute those 3 core skills, we feel like we've got an opportunity to do what we want to do, which is win the day.
Coach, has your offensive scheme changed since last year, given the personnel, or did you have an idea after that last game what you wanted to go into 2022?
Well, we definitely got comfortable doing some things and just kind of saw what we did well. Having a spring was really, really good for us, so we can add some things, cut some things.
You had to move a lot of bodies.
We did have to move quite a few bodies. We're breaking in a couple of young quarterbacks, and we've got a couple of young skill kids that we're breaking in. But for the most part, I like where we were headed at the end of the year, and we wanted to build on that. And so that's what we spent spring doing, is building on that.
Coach, the season's at hand. Good luck to the Vikings this year.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
The Martin Warriors are the defending district champions, a perfect 6-0 record last year, 9-3 overall. Head coach Bob Wager in year number 17. Can't wait for the season to get started. Coach, how are the numbers and how has the off-season summer workout programs gone in preparation for the upcoming season?
Very strong, and that's, I think, a credit to being there for 17 years. I have a son who'll be a senior who's in the program, a daughter that's a sophomore in the cheer program, and so I've known those kids since they've been in elementary school, not only them, but all their friend group. And then a very, very consistent coaching staff. And so, you know, we try to win each day one at a time, but had a great off season and a great summer.
How many Letterman return? How many returning starters on offense and defense?
Well, we're about 50-50, so I think we got six starters offensively, 6 starters defensively. We have about 30 players that contributed last year, so a very, very strong senior class. We have 4 returning leadership council members, which that's a big deal. You know, it all starts with them, and we'll follow suit with them.
All right, give us some names offensively and defensively that may make an impact.
Well, I think you have to start with the leadership council members, those that were voted by their teammates as juniors that now return for their senior year. And those are the ones that are really leading the off-season workouts and things like that. Javian Toviano is a national recruit at corner, but he'll be a two-way player. Josiah Charles has multiple Division I offers, also as a corner and as a returning leadership council member. Zaire Barrow is a dynamic running back, slot receiver, kick returner. He's got an Army and a Navy offer, so 4.0 GPA as well. And then my son Gage Wager is a returning leadership council member as well. He plays running back, but also has a heavy hand in our special teams units.
You open up with Lake Travis at Choctaw Stadium. Hudson Card's alma mater, now the starting quarterback at UT. Never an easy task, but talk about Lake Travis and your other two non-district games, because you have two of the first three at home.
Well, it's going to be huge. We start right out of the box on ESPN, the first nationally televised game in the country at any level, high school, college, or pro, at home at Choctaw against a great Lake Travis team and a great Lake Travis program, ranked in the top 10 in the state. We go on the road to play Cedar Hill, who's 2 years removed from a state championship appearance. We're home again against Allen, who's, you know, in the last decade probably been one of the most storied programs in the country, and then on the road at Temple. So a great slate of non-district games, and by playing that caliber of team, we know we're going to get better. We know we're going to learn about ourselves, but our objective is to win them all.
Coach, I'm going to mention some names for you. You have three players at Texas on the fall roster, a couple of freshmen, a sophomore, Miles Hill, Travell Johnson, and Maurice Blackwell. When I mention those names, how confident are you knowing their background and what they could succeed at UT?
Extremely confident, and obviously they were great culture builders and had a huge impact on our program. Miles was a leadership council member, and I know he'll carry that over into his role. Travell was the special teams player of the year his junior year, didn't play much his senior year because of an injury, but a really dynamic player. And then Maurice Blackwell, as a true sophomore, has already been named the captain of the special teams units there at Texas. So not only do I think they're going to have a great impact on the field, but knowing those three, they're going to have a great impact in that locker room and the development and continued improvement of the culture of Texas football.
There's a lot of speed in the district this year. How do you see the overall race?
Highly competitive always. There's not a game in that schedule that's not a rivalry game. And when you are the defending district champion, obviously you've got a target on you, which we embrace and are thankful for. But we know we're going to get everybody's best, and we owe it to them to give them our best as well.
Should be a great season. Coach, good luck to you and the Martin Warriors.
Thanks, John. Always appreciate your interest in our program.
You bet. The Sam Houston Texans are guided by Coach Chris James, a former player. He coached at Sam and has come full circle. Chris, you ought to know everything pretty well at Sam Houston.
I have. You know, I've been telling everybody that, you know, for the past 25 years, all I've ever wanted to do is go back to Sam Houston. And now I'm living the dream and running the program, steering the ship, and it's been a great blessing for me personally.
Personally, how has the summer gone? Did you take a vacation, or was it just following what the school year dictates?
Yeah, so this summer we kept the MAC open every day, all day long, and our participation was incredible. I mean, it took a lot of work for me personally to do that, but it needed to happen. We're trying to change the culture there, put in work, and really dedicate ourselves to our craft of playing football and getting better.
All right, any changes on the coaching staff?
Yeah, we've turned over about half the staff, more than half the staff, so a lot of guys, you know, parted ways, go doing their own thing. We had a coach become a head coach in Fort Worth ISD, so I was real proud of him for that. So we have two new coordinators. They're going to do a great job for us, and a bunch of young guys full of energy and hungry and ready to go.
Chris, where are you strong offensively and defensively?
I think in a skill position offensively, we got some receivers, a tight end that can really play. Lafayette Kiowa, who's a 4-star tight end for us, committed to TCU. He's doing an incredible job this summer. He's about 6'6", 245 pounds, and he's super strong, and he's great work ethic. On the defensive side, I think our defensive front is really improved. We worked really hard this spring to change what we were doing defensively, put in a new style, new philosophy, things of that nature, be a little bit more aggressive than we have been in the past. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You mentioned the MAC. I think the most valuable player since 2019 has been the MAC. You would have killed to have your summer workout conditions in an air-conditioned facility as a player, wouldn't you?
The Arlington community and the school district did an outstanding job in creating these facilities. In 25 years, I've never had an indoor facility. I've never had a weight room like that, so we're truly blessed to have a community that supports the school district and the athletic programs like they do here.
Chris, you succeed Anthony Chris. Looking at his past, what has he meant to the district and his tenure at Sam Houston?
Well, I can tell you what he's meant to me personally. Coach Chris is the reason why I became a head coach. He really helped me out when he was assistant athletic director when I was at Arlington High to getting a job in Crowley. And I've learned so much from him. He's always been there for me. Anytime you have to ask a question, he's going to pick up the phone and he's going to help you out. But what he's done at Sam Houston, spending the amount of time he's been there, it's been an honor for me to be able to work for him at my alma mater.
All right, talk about your non-district schedule.
Yeah, so we open up with North Crowley. We're going to play at their place, brand new stadium, 10,000 seat. I'm really excited to go back because that's where I started my head coaching career, was in that school district. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We play Mansfield Timberview, then we play LD Bell for homecoming, and then we finish off the non-district with Kimball.
What excites you about the upcoming season?
Just seeing our kids change. They've grown as a family, you know, watching them play for each other. That's what our biggest focus has been. I'm not really concerned about wins and losses. I'm more concerned about the process, seeing our team grow and build.
Chris, good luck to you and the Sam Houston Texans this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
The Seguin Cougars take part in District 5-5A. Last year, the Cougs finished 6-5 overall. They were 3-4 in the district. They're led by head coach Joe Gordon in year number 6. Joe, it was kind of an interesting season last year. You had a couple of forfeits, and you had some teams you didn't know you were going to play.
Yes, sir. I mean, and that's kind of what we all had to deal with as coaches during some of the COVID era. You know, things from week to week could change, and sometimes, you know, it was out of your control, but the whole goal was to give the kids an opportunity to suit up and get out there and do what they love to do, and that's play this great game that we love to coach.
You won 3 of your first 4 games to open up the season. This year you opened up against Midlothian. I know last year it was a premium to get off to a good start, and you did. That should have a good carryover effect this year.
Yes, sir. You know, we always want to continue the momentum. And, you know, we always talk about it's not how we start, but it's how we finish. So hats off to our coaching staff and to our kids in our program. We're able to finish the year off just like we started, you know, on a high note. And we've been working hard all summer, and we're looking to continue that string. You know, our first game against Midlow is going to be one that we're really excited about. We all know that Coach Doug Wendell does a fantastic job with that program, and it's going to be one for the ages to take a look at. And it's the first game of the year on a Thursday night, so we're extremely excited about it.
The last game of the year, Coach, in Waco, a win in Waco. Did that have a positive carryover effect heading into this season?
Absolutely. You know, anytime you can go out and get a win in general, you know, that's the goal. But to go out in the last game of the year and to put a statement on your season and to also close out the way you want to begin with a win, I think that's always something that boosts your program and the morale of your program as you head into the off season in the summer.
All right, Coach, talk about some of your starters on offense and defense that should make an impact this year.
Okay, well, starting on our offense side of the ball, we're going to be very young to begin with, but we're going to be led by our interior line. We have a couple young linemen who we're really high on. Jaden Robinson will come in. He's about a 6'4", 320-pound guard. We also have Chris Edwards, who's a sophomore, who's about 6'2", about 275. Those guys up front are going to lead the way for us. They're young, but they're very smart, and they both have playing experience. So we're really looking forward to them getting their exposure and getting started this season. Also, in addition to that, we have our quarterback, Saron. Saron Evans started the last few games of the season for us, went out there and led us to some victories, so we really feel good about him and what he's able to do. And on the defensive side of the ball, you know, we returned a secondary that I think is pretty much second to none. I mean, these guys have proven that they have the skill set, the leadership, and the aptitude to go out there and carry this football team. I'd say they're led first by our safety and Texas commit, Jamel Johnson. Jamel's been a 3.5-year starter here for us in our program and has been a very, very stout player for us on both sides of the ball, primarily at that safety position. And then next to him, we have Diesel. Diesel Gordon has really come on over the last 1.5 years as a two-way player, and he'll come in and provide some excellent cover skills. While we've got JJ helping us fit that run game in the box, we'll have Diesel and his man-to-man cover skills and his ability to get out there and take a receiver out of the equation. That's going to be a good fit for us. And then to top it off, we've got those two twins, okay, the Otino brothers, Zay and Zier. And having those guys, it's really, really special to have them because they can line up at either safety and help us out, or they can roll down and play that nickel. Zay is really a talented star player where his physicality and his speed allows him to add to the box game and really help stop the run. And then Zier, his twin, allows us the flexibility because his speed and size, he's a 10-900 meter guy. He can go out there and play some man-to-man coverage as well and also help us in our dime situations, nickel situations when we feel like an opponent's trying to spread the field. And last but not least, we've got a young cat coming up who I think is the future of this defense once those guys are gone. His name is Cam Cole. Cam Cole is a young 24 that has had an amazing offseason. His sheer speed and his nose for the football and his knack for big plays is something that we're really excited about in that secondary and our defense as a whole.
Coach, a couple of changes in the district. How do you see the teams in the district race this year in 5A?
Well, it's going to be a stiff competition as always. In our district, I think from year in, year out, there's always going to be some of the best coaches, some of the best competition. I mean, if you look across the board, just our week 1 matchups, you've got two Division I guys who have offers on that side. You've got an established program that is doing well. We follow that up with a team from Red Oak. You go out to Red Oak, and they've got one of the top receivers. I think right now his list is very long. He's got many Power 5 programs and elite programs who are after him, and they've got a formidable cast around him that's just really, really solid and strong. And then we go to Aubrey. Here's a team that went to the playoffs, went a couple rounds deep, and they're well coached, and they also have a couple Division I players. And that's just before we get to our league. Yeah. Okay, when we get into the league, we open up on that Thursday night. You got Mansfield, Summit, and we all know they've been back-to-back playoffs going all the way, on the brink of winning a state title. So when you look at our league as a whole, I think there's a week in and week out. It's definitely going to be a fight, and it's going to be one that we're going to be up for the challenge we're really excited about.
You mentioned Mansfield Summit. Seguin has never been on a local TV over-the-air channel, but that changes on September the 15th, and that ought to be exciting for you.
That's very exciting, to come into this program where we begin and to have the momentum shifting to where we are today. I think it's a great celebratory moment for our community, for our coaching staff, for our campus. Our kids have continued to work hard over the last few seasons and continue to believe that we have the ability and the capability of going up, matching up on any week with anybody, anywhere. And I think that having this game nationally televised will be really exciting and good for our program as a whole.
Finally, Coach, you have a player at TCU and a player at Texas on the fall roster.
Yes,
what
sir.
about their future?
Oh, my goodness. We're so excited about our Cougs who've moved on to college football. We'll start with our big tackle, Quinn Harris, who was Mr. Everything for us here at Seguin, was a 4-year starter. He's at TCU right now, and we're expecting nothing but great things from him. Since he's been there in the offseason summer, I've heard nothing but good things coming out of that camp in terms of what he's doing, how he's contributing to his new program, as well as our other standout stud, former quarterback / turn defensive back, Xavier Bryce, who's at the University of Texas. I think the opportunities for both of these young men are through the roof. I can see Xavier early in the game with his length, his speed, and his football IQ. I can see him pushing for some playing time early in his career there at Texas, and I wouldn't be surprised if his name was started by the year's end.
Coach, good luck to you and the Cougars this year.
Well, thank you, and we're excited to go. Go Cougs. Let's get it.
Well, that's our football coaches show. Our thanks to all 6 AISD coaches. We'll see you at a stadium this fall.